friend. I hope you're doing good. I am so excited. It is time for Christmas, and we've got so many fun educational things this month, different parties and classes that are going on this month. Now, very first thing, I want to invite you to to come and join any of the classes that you want to. Down below are all of the list of everything we've got going on this month. And then I also want you to, if you would like to invite 50 people from your Facebook list to the class or to the party, whichever one you pick that you want to go to. It's always so much more fun when you invite some of your friends to party along with you. If you would like to host one of your very, very own, we can do that too. And you can earn hostess points and some free stuff and free products and all of the neat things. If you invite your friends to any of these classes, you can earn, if your friend decides that they want to sign up and become a part of Young Living, you can actually enroll your friend because you're the one that has invited them. And you get to enroll them, and you can earn $50 for enrolling your friend. So if you are interested in that, let me know, and I can share with you a little bit more of how that works. It's not about doing the business. You're not like starting a business just because you're inviting your friend. It's just a thank you from Young Living for inviting a friend to the party and them getting started with Young Living. So it's just a little thank you from us to you for going that little extra mile and bringing someone, because it's so highly important. What we do is not just about like just randomness. I mean, this is about life changing. This is things, if you've got a friend that is really in need and your friend is really hurting, this is something that could totally change their life and help them so much and be a total different direction for them. So don't be nervous or afraid to set up a conversation with a friend and just say, hey, we've got this class. Would you like to come and join me in this class? Because it really will be life-changing. There are so many people. I was just listening to a lady the other day. I have a friend, kind of a mutual friend, and she was, we were on a Zoom call together, and she was talking about when she started using Young Living, that she had so many chronic issues going on. Her COPD was horrible. Her she had diabetes. She had some other disease. I can't remember what it was called. It's like this big, really long word. And I mean, like, she was miserable. And she said she just could not walk. She couldn't hardly function. It was pitiful. And once she started using Young Living and really beginning to change some of her habits and really getting into using more of her oils, then the way she felt began to change tremendously, and she began to walk better, and she started seeing a difference. So this is not just about like feel good awesomeness. This is about really truly being life-changing for someone. For me, when I first started, I was very depressed, and I could not hardly move one foot in front of the other. I mean, I was miserable. And after about a month of using Young Living, it's kind of like my eyes just were opened. I mean, like, things changed so much. And I realized, as I've studied and I've learned over the last 7 years, I realized that it was not, it's not that the oils are these healing and like medicine, I mean, we laugh and say it's God's medicine because God created the oils. And so we kind of, tongue-in-cheek say things like that. But it is the simple fact that our bodies work well with the oil. They get down they go past the blood-brain barrier into the cell and get deep in there where medicine cannot get. And it actually works within that cell to repair. And that is one thing that I just absolutely love. When I realized that frankincense actually rebuilds cells, that is amazing. Another really crazy fact to me, let's see, I'm looking at the wrong book. Another really cool fact is the frequency of the oils and the frequency of our bodies. Now, when, it's I've been studying about frequencies for a while now, and it's really taken me a while to wrap my head around it completely. But everything has a frequency, which is basically the same thing as having energy. Everything has a frequency to it. So, like my body, living thing, I have a frequency. Even rocks, even though they're just a rock, still has frequency to it. Everything has a vibration and an energy, just like a radio has it, the sound works off of the sound waves. Our bodies do the same thing. So we're pulling energy into us, or we're pushing energy out from us. It can be good or bad. We can grab hold of other people's energy as well. When you walk in a room, sometimes it just feels heavy, and there's everybody's mad, and you have one or two people that are kind of over here, kind of going, kind of laughing, but for the most part, everybody's just irritated and just nasty. Well, you're pulling the energy from someone else into you. So you may walk in being perfectly happy, and then when you get into the room, you're like, well, it's just so boring and it's terrible and I'm so depressed. That's where I was, and I felt like everywhere that I went and everything I did, I felt like I was throwing out this negative energy everywhere I went. We should be bringing people up when we walk into a room. The whole mood of the room should change just because of us. And unfortunately, when I walk in a room, sometimes that is the way it happens. Especially if I'm in a negative place, we're going to drag more people into our negative place, because negativity is very strong. But we want to lift up, and we want to make a much happier atmosphere for people. But each person has a frequency. The oils also have a frequency. Now, I'm going to read this little thing to you. This to me just is amazing. So, each oil has a frequency. The highest is rose oil, which is at 320 megahertz. Lower frequency oils resonate with the bodily systems that have those frequencies, such as the bones and joints, and thus administer healing vibrations to those systems. And this is from Healing Oils of the Bible by Dr. Stewart. When the oils are blended together, a fundamental frequency will emerge that may be higher or lower than many of its components. Now, this is what is interesting. By comparison, fresh herbs measure 20 to 27 megahertz. Okay? Now, I want you to keep in mind that a healthy body measures at a frequency of 62 to 68 megahertz. Okay, so you're up here, 62. So a rose oil, that's why rose is so expensive. Just a side note, it takes tons and tons of rose petals, like pounds and pounds and pounds of rose petals to make one little bottle of rose oil, because it drips slow. Tons of rose oil, but the frequency of rose is huge. It's higher than any frequency known, 320 megahertz. So if being healthy is at 62, then just think about putting rose on. Now, that is what, when I first started and I was so depressed and I was having such a hard time, I used joy. And I put joy on my heart, over my heart, every single day, every morning, every night, for 30 days. Totally changed my life. Totally. I can't even express what a different person I was after that time. But joy has rose in it. Rose is high in frequency. The higher your frequency is, the better you feel and the more alive you are. So if herbs range at 12 to 24, now we know herbs can do a lot for our health. Cinnamon is amazing for different health issues. Thyme is great. Lemon, which is not really a herb, but whatever. You know what I mean. Anyway, different things, different foods, different stuff that we eat every day, things that we put on our bodies, all affect our frequency every day. So, find my spot. Dry herbs, fresh herbs range between 20 and 27 megahertz. Dry herbs 12 to 22. Fresh produce is only from 5 to 10 megahertz. So just eating your vegetables every day, your 2 or 3 vegetables that you eat every day, still is only going to raise your frequency by 5 or 10 megahertz, which isn't a whole lot. Processed foods have nothing at all. That should not be surprising. So there's no life force in canned or processed foods. Those don't have vibration. Those don't have any energy or frequency whatsoever. They contain chemical nutrition. Gobs of chemicals, not good for you, not doing anything for you whatsoever. It's not the vital electronic nutrition that's in your live fruit and vegetables and things like that. So eating your fruits and vegetables is very important because it is going to raise your frequency by a little. That's going to be better than eating canned and processed foods, but still not raising it just gobs, but you are moving forward. Now, if a healthy person's frequency is at 62 to 68, when a person's frequency dips between below 58, that's when colds and flu starts coming in. That's when they start seeing sickness. You start seeing disease. Disease starts at 52 megahertz, candida at 55, and cancer begins when the body falls below 42 megahertz. That is scary. So if your frequency is down here and that's why, as I've started, I've realized that the chemicals that we have in things are really horrible. We've got so many chemicals that other countries don't even use, the United States allows. That's horrible. That's affecting our fish. It's affecting our kids. It's affecting people getting pregnant. It's affecting every aspect of our life. But yet we keep allowing all these chemicals in our homes, which is absolutely horrendous. But we allow that to come in anyway. When you start looking at this from a different perspective and you look at it from the frequency side of things, if you're eating a gob of the processed foods, all flatlined. So your body, if that's all you're doing, your body is gradually going to go down and that frequency is not going to stay up. As your body's going down and the frequency is going down, that's when the cancer, that's when flu, all kinds of things start coming about. That's when we get sick, is because we're not keeping our frequency up. The better things, the fruits, the vegetables, the good things, is what helps to keep those frequencies up. The dying process starts at 25 megahertz, and of course, death is 0. Like when you have no frequency, your heart's not beating anymore, it's dead. Now, another interesting fact to me, when you drink coffee, just the process of drinking coffee lowers your frequency by 12 to 14 megahertz. So if you're drinking 2 or 3 cups of coffee a day, when we think that we're getting caffeine and we think we're boosting our energy levels, we're really harming ourselves and we're lowering our frequency levels. So we're really not doing as well as we think we were. Then you do that all the time. You do that every single day. It takes 2 to 3, 4 days for, let me see, I think it said 3 days. It takes 3 days for your body to recover from 1 cup of coffee. So if you've had 2 or 3 cups of coffee throughout the day, then just imagine how your body's never rebuilding that frequency. You're never rebuilding that energy level, actually. Where you think you're doing yourself some good by getting the caffeine, you're really not doing anything but lowering your frequency more. One interesting fact, you can hold a bottle and sniff a bottle of oil. Doesn't matter which one, any of them, sniff it, and it raises your frequency and balances that back out. So we've laughed, that you can hold your bottle of oil and drink your coffee at the same time and still have your coffee. So there you go. But that is interesting to me because God knew how to, like, he knew that we were going to need something to replace what we're losing through the day. You know, we have these chemicals, we have all these things going on in our bodies. Our liver is overtaxed every single day, all the time, because of all the things we're eating, all the things we're putting into us, all the chemicals that we have floating around are going through our liver every single day. So we have to keep it healthy. We have to keep it yucky. So we have to think about that. The oils actually help to raise that frequency. Now just listen to a couple of the different megahertz, the frequency that come from some of the different oils. Rose, of course, like I said, has 320 megahertz. Helichrysum has 181. Raven Sarah has 134. Lavender has 118. Blue Tansy has 105. Melissa has 102. And basil even has 52. So I mean that's a herb, and it has 52 megahertz, which I mean that boosts a ton. So you're looking at being able to do a lot for your body by just simply using one drop of oil to help replace some of the things that we're losing throughout the day. That's amazing to me. One of the most important healing modalities of the oils is their ability to lift our bodily frequencies to levels where disease cannot exist. That's coming from Dr. Stewart. That's what he says. So if we really think about the fact that the oils can help raise our frequency to that point where the disease can't start, because we're keeping our bodies on a much higher level. I mean, like electricity, like that's where we want to be, is in that electricity mode, and to feel so good that we don't have to have all of the energy drinks, and we don't have to have all of the yuck, we don't have to have the caffeine, and we don't have to have these extra things, because we're feeling so good during the day, because we've got the energy that we need. So this month, as we're going through, we want to really look at all of more of the basic things. So starting tomorrow, I'm trying to think what even today is. Today's the 3rd, so tomorrow's Friday, the 4th. We are going to start a lesson a day, very simple, very short little lessons on very basic, what are essential oils? Why do you need them? All the basics. So there'll be little short videos that will not be very long, not as long as this one, but going through and helping us to understand why is it important for us to be changing the way that we're doing things. We don't want to keep living this life where we're below that wellness line, where our frequency is getting lower, and we're not able to keep moving forward the way we need to. So down below there are a list of all the classes. Grab whichever class you want to. There'll be different information in each class, so just look at the title and see which one you really like the best. Join that class. Like I said, if you want to invite some friends to the class, invite 50 people to the class. It is going to be a great way for you to maybe make a little extra money if you want to, but also to be able to share something that's totally life-changing for your friends and for your family that you know is in need of something, and something more that they're not getting out of normal things that they've already tried. If they've tried everything else, there's nothing to lose. There's nothing to lose to try something new. So I cannot wait to share with you all of the fun things this month, everything that's going on, and I will talk to you tomorrow.